Hello and welcome back to my mini-series. I am talking about regulating the nervous system in this chapter. One of the things that I really love including in my breathing practices and the sessions that I do 3 times a week with people for 30 minutes is some form of movement in breathing. So instead of just sitting still, which actually can be quite challenging, either because of hips, back, knees, but also sometimes we just simply don't like sitting still. Bringing in movement and then finding this kind of way of synchronizing the breath possibly, or there's kind of lots of different ways where we can bring the movement and the breath together. So synchronization, for example, would be one way. So it could be something like raising the arms with an inhale and lowering the arms with an exhalation, or doing another movement with the arms in some way, or with the whole body, or the legs, or depending on whether you're practicing standing or sitting or lying down even. And what happens depending, I guess, also what the movement is, of course, is that, we are having to figure out how to adapt both so that they can come together and move as one. And very likely, we're going to be deepening our breathing ever so slightly. So, for example, the whole duration of floating the arms up over the head is likely to be that little bit longer than my normal inhalation. And then if I focus on releasing the arms down very slowly, that's then also going to slow down my exhalation. So what I'm doing here is fostering a slightly slower breath as well as a potentially longer exhalation, both of which we already know is acting on the nervous system and supporting us coming a little bit more into the parasympathetic mode, into that relaxation mode of the nervous system. So definitely helping with reducing stress levels in our system. There's other ways that we could explore bringing movement and breath together. Something I like doing is sort of wobbling and shaking the arms and then doing some sharper breathing with that. So movement can also act in a way as a sort of, almost distraction. So maybe bringing only the focus to the breath and staying again really calm and quiet with it can be that is actually the uncomfortable thing about the breathing exercise, and doing something a little bit more involved, giving us something to do, being still a little bit more active with the whole thing is going to help a lot of us. That kind of sort of might just meet us where we're at a little bit more in that activation mode, and so we can use that as well. So those are kind of different ways of bringing movement and breath together. And of course, what it does, it also brings a bit more awareness and focus to the fact that we are breathing in the first place, and how the breath might be supporting movement. The movements themselves could be kind of opening or releasing some of the tension that we're holding around all of the respiratory area of the thorax. All of these things kind of play into that as well, and they're kind of nice little, I'm going to say, side effects, I guess, from bringing movement and the breath together. And we could obviously also do some movement specifically targeted at releasing that diaphragm. The other thing is that maybe we can develop a bit more sensory awareness and actual, felt sense of where we're at with our breathing, because what the breath is meant to be able to do is adapt according to whatever position we're holding ourselves in. So if I'm holding myself upside down, breathing is going to feel a little bit different to standing upright, to having my arms up, or if I'm in this kind of twist where, I'm really sort of pulling my diaphragm around, breathing is going to feel a little different. So bringing movement into the mix of things can actually also develop actual sensation of what's happening with our breath there, which again can be really really helpful. And I'm going to talk about that, the actual attention, that awareness, in the next chapter, so I'm not going to jump ahead too much on that. So yeah, working with bringing some movement into the practice, I think, can be really helpful for a whole bunch of reasons I now already listed, and will potentially make the breathing practices, even more accessible to a whole group of people. So that's all for now in this chapter. I'll be back soon talking a little bit more about regulating the nervous system with our breathing practices. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now.